in a few days it will be Christmas, and last year I did this list of Blender update ideas as well as a wish list. So this year as well, a few thoughts, a few ideas how to make this program even better. So yeah, here are a few ideas, thoughts I collected through the last year of using Blender. I use it almost every day. I made a job now with it. I'm working for real companies using it a lot, and I like it. So yeah. Also through the last year I dived a little bit into Houdini and 3D Code, and I learned a few other 3D programs, but I always came back to Blender because it's one of the best. And to make it even better, here are a few ideas. So here you see my default Blender scene. I like to have it very minimalistic. I have a shortcut for splitting things, and then with Shift F3 you can cycle through the compositor and so on. But what you might notice already here is here the statistics on top of it. Even if I disable it now, and then go to things, save startup file. So statistics are disabled. Now quit, let's reopen it. And the statistics are back there. I don't know if this is a bug or whatever, but it would be nice if the preset could disable this as well. Second thing you might notice, they have actually added this here, down here. If you move down the timeline, eventually the scroll thingy down here moves away. That's nice. But also here, if you look at this here, for example, everywhere are these sliders, and I think they are there for people who use a stylus or whatever, but it's not necessary. So I'd like to have the possibility to yeah, make these scroll moving thingies as well, to have it really minimalistic. Then another thing that happens sometimes, I've made the window full screen F11, like in Minecraft or wherever, and then you see the bar, and when I disable it, sometimes there's a weird gray bar on top, which is annoying, and then you have to press F11 and F11 again, then it's gone away. But yeah, that would be nice if this could go away. Then another point, this was already in the list of last year. I don't use the 3D cursor here because I think it's not looking that good, but technically it's super practical. Here you can do stuff with it. Technically red and white, but the idea was last year to have the channel profile pic on it, and that would be nice. Think about it, all channels, everybody could use its profile picture as the 3D cursor. This would be nice, I think. Then another thing, if you add the camera and you press Ctrl-Alt-0, it gets selected, but when another object is selected and I press Ctrl-Alt-0 again, it would be nice if the camera gets selected automatically, because probably you want to do changes, like when you do it and you look at it and then bam, yeah, now it's selected, but if nothing was selected, then nothing is there, then it's not getting selected. That would be a nice little feature, like a little detail, but which also always makes a little extra click unnecessary, because then always camera selecting and then you can do stuff with it. Then a little bit to geometry nodes, which I'm learning more and more. That's nice. I'm not too happy with how this is right now. It is a little bit unintuitive, you know. There used to be shortcuts to get nodes, Shift A, and then there were these little, but I think they removed shortcuts because there got too many nodes in here. I kind of like this more, because typing it and then always typing your node takes a lot of time. And also connecting nodes. There's holding Alt on this is amazing, but this is sometimes not that intuitive. There are sometimes nodes that connect with the wrong socket or with an unintuitive socket which you would never use, but it does it anyways. And I'd like to kind of have, I've used Houdini in the last months a lot, and there a few things are just a little bit nicer. Automatically aligning nodes, you know, that this could be done, that these things align automatically. Nice. Always maybe two digits in between or something like this. And what I also like more, I know most of the time I hold Alt and then you have this red thing and so that's nice. But I kind of don't like to hold it and to have to drag it all the time and to hold it. What would be nice is if I click once and then I have the string with me here without holding anything, but the string is still connected to the cursor, and then I can click again, you know, only click and then without holding it. Houdini has this. And that's really practical, because sometimes, I don't know if it's your case as well, but my mouse left click sometimes loses the grip. See, when I hold this, sometimes the mouse does brr, and that's really, really annoying. Also sliding here, when you move these, it's fine, but see, sometimes the mouse doesn't want to, and yes, just get a functioning mouse, but this happened several times already, and this is annoying, which is also why I use control and scroll wheel to scroll. This I find way more precise, because also your wrist is less precise than the scroll wheel. Think about it. Let's say I want 2-0 now, and I do it with the mouse. This is very, and yes, you can hold shift and then make kind of smaller adjustments, but yeah, 2-0. See, I'm not faking this. It takes long until you exactly. And with scroll wheel, you're faster. And obviously, what most people would do is simply typing in the numbers. But that's, I don't know, if you don't have to look at your keyboard, then it's probably faster. Kind of getting used to it, but it's, I like scroll wheel. And what also is here, when you scroll now, always the point and then the digits is only able to scroll. What would be nice if I could hold Control Shift or something, and then the point 0, and then so now this second 0 could get adjusted. Just like scrolling, see, with Shift it's more precise than without Shift. So Control Shift scrolling maybe the second digit, and then Control Alt scrolling the third digit. And then you can really use your scroll wheel to adjust these. So yeah, but this year, more important, Alt and holding is nice, but just clicking and then clicking, and maybe also an idea, when you hover over it, that this circle gets bigger. Also than here, or yeah, connecting these, wherever you hover your mouse, that the circle gets like 2, 3, 4 times bigger, because no matter how, like these little things, see, that this is so, you want to work really, really fast, and every millisecond you lose is stupid. See, I'm not faking this. Sometimes it's just, and I'm assuming all people have this problem, that you can't really be super fast, and it's, yes, you can hold Alt, and most of the time it's connecting logically, but now let's say I want normal in scale. See, it does rotation in rotation. That's, again, now points into instance. Hey? No, now normal in scale. So they need kind of a little bit more, a faster, more intuitive workflow. Also with searching things, that I kind of have shortcuts, just like in the viewport you want E for extrude, or Control B for beveling or whatever. And here the same thing, that you only have to press V. I've applied a few shortcuts, for example V is value, but yeah, like in Age of Empires maybe, that you press QQ for your I don't know, I haven't played it since a long time, but yeah, there you have like just a few buttons, and preferably the left hand, because your right hand is obviously with your mouse. So left hand, and then Q, 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 W, W, Shift W, Alt W. There are probably hundreds of combinations, only your left hand, and then you don't have to look at the keyboard. Then you can really left hand, and also the digits until maybe 5 is okay. But then there's no way that somebody, without having to look at the keyboard, can press 8 or 9. Like you have to look where is 8 and 9 and all the right half of your keyboard. So maybe shortcuts for geometry nodes with the left hand would be amazing. Then obviously there are a few very nice nodes in Houdini, which Blender doesn't have yet. But yeah, if they keep developing it and keep getting better, eventually Blender geometry nodes will be at Houdini level. And there's one node especially which makes really nice particles, which makes it like more magic, more stick together. This would be nice if this could come in geometry nodes. And another thing Houdini has, which is really nice, is that you can press escape very often before it crashes. You kind of get a feeling for, oh no, that was too much, oh no, I moved the slider the wrong way, or whatever. Yeah, just if now I would have it like playing here, and it's baked right now, but if you now would do like too many subdivisions or whatever, Blender would crash. And then it takes 1-2 minutes, you have to open your file manager, and even there sometimes it's really laggy and you can't do anything. And it's kind of, I don't know how Houdini is doing this, but there you can press escape, and it's kind of relief. Like, just don't stress about it. If you did a mistake and you moved the slider too much or whatever, then just, okay, no, never mind, undo the last 10 seconds and just let go. Computer, stop. let it go and stop caring about these things. This would disable crash, or maybe a warning that Blender can tell, hey, if you keep moving that slider, I will crash. Yeah, something like this. That it's technically computers are ones and zeros, and if you could have escape for deleting the last so and so many ones and zeros, so that you can start 10 seconds ago or something like this, that you simply undo the last sliding which caused the crash. That would be amazing and save in total hours, because all these I named were little details and little things. It's already amazing. I love to work with Blender, but there are a lot of little thingies that take time, and these then add up. If you need every time a few little more seconds to build with geometry nodes and so on, then in total these are hours of time lost. Then I dived more and more into the compositor. Here, use nodes, layer node, and these you can set to ghosts, and that would be nice. This node is already very amazing, but yeah, would be nice if you keep working on it and give more thingy possibilities even here. Yeah, just keep working on it. That's amazing, because this is not real geometry, meaning it's really fast. It makes the scene look way more complex, which is cool. Like that layer node make here more options in it. That would be very cool. And then I would like to introduce a program which I use as well. I use it instead of the Blender sculpting mode, which got better, way better. Like there are things now possible in Blender sculpting mode, but here Blender can look at a lot of things, and obviously it's not nice to copy and so on, but there are just a few things here which the Blender sculpt mode should use as well. And one thing here is this. Yeah, I'm right clicking. I'm not using my left hand. In Blender this is F and Shift F, but here you can, if you hold right click here, left hand, I'm not doing anything with left hand. Here it's only right click, adjusts the size of the brush, and the top to bottom, right click, adjust the strength, which is amazing, and then control does all the same thing. I've applied all Blender shortcuts here, so Alt X and so on. I've made everything like Blender. Like basically this is here my things, and you can even export it here to Blender somewhere. Really nice. There are just a few really cool things I want to show. So here you can draw these things here, which is amazing. You can draw shape, you can even with R here. I hold R and I can kind of bevel the brush. That is nice. With E I can choose what. I can use polygon mode, for example, and then I can do this. This got better in Blender recently, like doing these things were unthinkable to do a few months ago, but that's nice that they developed this. Here, circle, for example, just bump. That's amazing. There Blender could do a few cool things as well. What you can do, for example, which is really impressive. I have this now once, and now if I type in a digit, it gets arrayed, and I can even hold Alt. That's getting rotated. That's insane, and this goes forever. I can also 33 now. Now I have 33 arrays of this. Okay, and I can move around. Alt R, select both. Control J. It's really Control R to remesh it. Shift S to shade smooth. Like these two are really similar programs. I've applied. It's basically like using Blender. Technically, 3D Code and Blender could merge together, but that would be amazing. Because one thing Blender really doesn't have yet is the pose mode. Really like this. You select the scene and then you can do all kinds of crazy stuff with it. You select it and then you can move it around. Call the owner of 3D Code. Amazing program. If this gets merged into the Blender sculpt mode, it's better than ZBrush in my opinion. I've used ZBrush as well, and I think 3D Code is better. More intuitive, everything. If you come from Blender this year, also the general movement and so on, and it's just amazing. And then another program I would like to introduce, I figured out within the last month, is Axiom. Here, Double Jump Academy, and it is done by this dude. It's better than Enbergen. In my opinion, it costs money, but there's also a free version, and it's almost real time. Okay, and he did this here for Houdini. Here, this character, there's no bounding box or anything around it, and he did this like within 2-3 minutes. All of these particles and smoke and so on got emitted around it. Here, see, he started here, and the bounding box and so on, no matter, and this is almost real time, and it's done within Houdini. But having this add-on for Blender would change everything. They have a Discord, and this is same with 3D Code. There's a big opportunity. Brilliant software. Really good, but not a lot of people involved, meaning they don't need that much money. Big possibility for Blender to get this and 3D Code in it. And then last program I'd like to talk about, I've watched this year, 30 years ago. He spoke with him a little bit, very interesting talk. They spoke about a lot of things. And then I looked at his channel. He introduced Clarice. Clarice I already knew, and this is Clarice. Clarice was used in Star Wars and a few other big Hollywood movies, but then they shut down because they weren't financially sustainable. And this is insane to me. Basically infinite scattering methods. You can scatter here these rocks. You can scatter millions of these and it won't bother the scene because they are. He did this with Gaia did as well, but it's not really calculating the actual geometry polygons. It's more like streaming. But this is kind of frustrating that kind of humanity is already able to do this and to have this technology, but because of money and because of other things, it's kind of not getting built. So implementing this into Blender would be insane. Just call the developers from back then and ask how this was done and put it into Blender. That is very good. And then last point, which I also spoke in the last year, is money. Is how to make Blender sustainable. He spoke about retirement, so he won't stay there forever, and kind of he is Blender. And I'm worried that if he moves out, that the donation-based system will not work. It is already difficult. They are already having struggles financially, and this is not a sustainable business. He even spoke in the BlenderCon about firing people or not being able to afford their jobs, and this is not an option. The people who build Blender deserve to be millionaires. That is not an option to unemploy these people. So I'm kind of worried that the same thing that happened to Clarice will happen to Blender. So I think they have to make it commercial, because this is so frustrating. They want to keep it free because they said so, and they want to stick to their promise kind of. But this I've studied economics. I know business. I know Frankfurt and a lot of ways people these days make money. Also drop shipping and cryptocurrencies, trading and so on. I'm a little bit into all of these, and it's insane what shit people kind of make that much money these days. And then the complete opposite to this, they're artists, introverts, silent people that are not in the foreground, that aren't elbow and no, they simply want to do art and don't even think that they deserve this. He even said he will retire and so on, but he will make sure that Blender will not become a weird subscription-based model and so on. This is not a weird subscription-based model. This is normal business. You have a product, and for this you charge money. And Blender is one of the best products in the world. It is a tool to build products. I use it every day. I use it for companies and so on. You can do a lot of amazing things with this, and it is ridiculous that it's free. And long-term wise, AI is catching up. He spoke about this, and I think he's right to some amount. But long-term wise, AI is really catching up. You can already do 3D models with AI. You can do put smoke in there and so on, and this will get better and better and better. If you would combine right now all AI tools into one tool, it might already be a threat to Blender. For the average user. Obviously, if you're very artistic and but it's a minority. Most people just have an idea and want to visualize this idea. And if there are better tools or other tools that do it faster, they might not even be better. But if they are way faster and way easier, people will go there. So Blender kind of to stay sustainable, to survive the next years, will have to keep getting better, much better. And implementing Clarice, 3D Code and Axiom would be amazing. Call these people. These are all little companies. There's not much money behind this. So, long story short, if Blender would charge a monthly fee, and kind of, I like to think at CapCut is the first program I've learned. CapCut was free back then, a few, 2-3 years ago, but then eventually they implemented a subscription-based model with nicer features, with, better tools, more tools and so on. And Blender could do this as well, that you kind of have to pay $4.99 per month to use the Sculpt mod or something like this. This is still, it is ridiculous that we even talk about this, because other tools at this level cost thousands. It's not even near the to compare this. So they should not be ashamed to start doing this, because I think if John Rosenthal retires, then this will not work. People will not keep donating, and there are millions of users, and if each of these users would give $1, $2, $3, they would have enough money. They could pay their employees, they could get more employees in, and maybe a few people are upset, but which is kind of ridiculous, because they pay already a lot of money for other tools they have on the PC. Every other program I have costs money, so it's kind of, you shouldn't be upset that Blender starts charging for something. But you could also say, now Blender costs something, but therefore it gets Axiom, therefore it gets 3D code, therefore it gets Clarice level or implements it. I think this people would like the disadvantage of, we said it's free forever, but now it's not free forever, is here worse, but unemploying people and not improving fast, so that maybe it gets replaced eventually and so on, is way worse. I think they have to do this step. It's inevitable. Kind of the main thought behind this is that also people from poor countries with not a lot of money can use it and so on, but kind of, if you can afford a device to use Blender on, you can also afford $4-5 per month to pay for Blender. That is, like, if they can afford Adobe and so on, then they can also afford Blender. Pay a frozen pizza for using Blender. This is already enough. Millions of users if each of these gives $1, $2, $3 and really is forced to do it, because I think if you make it voluntary, only 2-3% will donate. They will get maybe Blender kits and add-ons. By add-ons they finance this as well, but the default Blender using that is just dipping his toes into it. If these people would already give $5, this is enough. With that money they could buy a lot of smaller companies around. So I think they have to think a little bit more economical, because right now it is already one of the best tools in the world, and they are adding more and more things, and you might actually do everything in Blender, from video editing to photo. Then you don't even need Photoshop anymore. Think about it. If Grease Pencil keeps getting better and so on, then you can do everything in Blender. Then it would be the tool for everything. And if they kind of, I don't use the volume solvers in Houdini. I use Axiom, and if Axiom would put it into Blender, I think the volume solvers, they are already a few years old, and kind of connecting geometry nodes with Axiom would be insane. It is already one of the best products, one of the best programs in the world, and it might become the best program in the world if they keep going, if they keep improving and implement more and more of these amazing tools. So this was it. I have no idea of programming or anything. This is backseat ideas, but I think it's nice to put it, because first you have to think it, then you have to speak it, and then you can build it. And that was it. Till next year. I like doing these lists. And then Merry Christmas, and let's go.